I'm originally from Baltimore, the inner city of Baltimore, where during the time period that I was born in, the biggest thing was drugs. And so my mom and my dad, he was a drug dealer, and my mom eventually got on drugs. Between birth and 17 years, anytime I tried to advocate for myself, I was shunned. So it was like, well, Mariah, you just have to be quiet. I learned the word burden at the age of 4 or 5. So I never knew what it meant, but I knew it had a negative connotation. And then when Trouble Child was introduced to me, it was said in the same manner as burden. So I'm like, oh, I've been a burden my entire life. Whew. I struggled with that because I never wanted to be a burden. I would do whatever I could do to make people feel like I was worthy of love. And it broke my spirit. My dad was granted custody of us and we moved to North Carolina. So we stayed there with his living girlfriend and him. And there was a lot of domestic violence. And with the domestic violence came verbal and mental abuse to myself. I was really broken inside. And I knew that I had battled with some type of mental illness. I wanted to die. And I thought this cycle was never going to end. Eventually went into the hospital for like a month, and I told them if I leave and go back to my family, it's gonna be a repeated cycle. So I begged them to put me in foster care or some other situation, even if it was temporarily. I needed to live somewhere else. They decided, okay, we're gonna put her in foster care. That experience I'm grateful for it. It was a lot of lessons learned, but I still wasn't getting the services that I felt like I truly needed in order to be successful until I came in contact with youth villages. During those first couple of meetings I had with them, I'm like, this is the first time someone is actually listening to my words and putting those into action. They were like, do you want to go to college? What is it that you want to do? And I'm like, dang, I haven't even thought about that yet. Yeah, let's look into colleges. And that's what made me say, you know what, I'm gonna give them a chance. I had Emily as my YV LifeSet specialist, and Emily is one of the strongest people I know because I was kind of difficult to deal with. I would call her at 1 o'clock in the morning in a frenzy or whatever it was, and she was always calm and listening. They helped me with school, helped me through everything that I had to do in school. And because I didn't have parental involvement, they kind of were like the hole in the parenting that I didn't have. I couldn't call my dad and say, Dad, I aced this test. But I knew if I called Emily, she would be stoked and she would probably have a surprise for me the next time she saw me. It was like something that I always yearned for. It was genuine. I felt loved. I felt like I had a voice. So I love Emily. As for today, I am a lead teacher for the 2.5-year-old classroom at a 5-star preschool. And I'm forever indebted to YV. And they know that. I tell them all the time, if it's anything that I can do to spread the word, I'm spreading the word of YV. The best way to describe my experience with youth villages, if you ever have been to an antique shop or a thrift store, they always have the items that's the shiniest to the front of the store. And how I view youth villages is they walk past the stuff that's shiny, they walk past the clothes that's not damaged, and they go back to the back of the store where there are some things that need a little bit more work, maybe a little bit more shine to it. It might be broken, and they take that home, and that's what they work on. They put the pieces together. They just put a light in you, and they turn that light on, and you're able to shine through your brokenness. So it's like they choose the damaged things because they can see what potential it has. They see potential. And that's what happened to me. YV saw the potential, and the rest is history.